Seeing all the people around me, going to a few clubs, not dancing, just sitting by the bar, ordering drinks, taking it all in. My story begins with a guy named Sidney Pruitt. He's going through a divorce. His friends tell him to come to Pattaya, Thailand. Forget about the world, come here, find a one-nighter with a girl from the city. Go crazy, Sidney's friends tell him to do. They tell him to go meet people. Do not tell anyone about your ex-wife, especially if you meet a woman here. Do not tell her about your heartbreaking divorce ending. Instead, pretend you're a tourist enjoying the new year. Because when reading in a magazine I found out in Pattaya, New Year's Day, the night of, is one of the craziest party nights in Pattaya. People flock here from all over the world, everyone partying at the beach. Now, for real life purposes, I would not get into the water, even though Shavyan said I was paranoid for believing in that military lie about entering in the water here. Sydney partying on the beach, before the ball in New York dropping, with the time zone difference, it was New Year's Day here, before in America. I remember a funny story, well, kind of a sailor-to-sailor story. I remember before meeting my future ex-wife, I really wish there was a better word for ex-wife, but you know there's not. I remember I was in a massage parlor in Japan, and it was no happy ending, but my friend, who was in the other room, he was getting his rocks off while I was doing the PG version of it. I remember coming out first. He comes out after. He looks at me, his face a little sweaty. I ask, "What did you do?" Looking back at me, "What do you mean, what did I do? Are you telling me you didn't do what I did?" Asking back, "You got a happy ending?" Wondering, "I got a load out, if this is what you were wondering?" "Oh, I did not do that. Was I supposed to?" "Are you married? Do you have anybody in the States waiting for you?" "I am single. I do not have anyone," telling back. "Well, if you were married, I am not married. I do have a couple kids out there, but I'm not seeing anyone. But also, if I did see anyone, it would not be considered cheating because we are ahead in the time zone. If you think about Back to the Future, today has not happened in America yet. No harm, no foul." This was literally his excuse on the subject. I was like, wow. But of course, at the time, I remember I was only 22, and I know you can blame your age, say you were too young, but seriously, his rhetoric was really stupid on what he was talking about. I don't remember his name. I do remember, though, he was kicked out for smoking weed. I remember, though, we all had to take a urinalysis right after we had the Christmas/New Year's leave. What I mean by this, in explaining to the non-military people, when you're in the military and you're home for Christmas and New Year's, you get to go on leave. But the way the military does it, to be fair for the entire ship, you split the leave 50-50. And by seniority, sometimes you can use it, sometimes you did not care. Either way, though, someone like me would switch it out because I lived by the base where some of the other people wanted to be home on Christmas, and there was home in Georgia, Texas, or somewhere else. It would be 50-50, half here, half gone. By January 3rd, it would be equal, everyone back on the ship. After we came back from the leave, our whole ship would go pee, i.e. urinalysis, just to make 50% of the ship was clean of weed, drugs, pretty much. That guy, the one who told the BS about the time zone a few sentences ago, he was 3 people ahead of me. I heard him tell some people around him he did some weed back home, but he got a drink, a 20 ounce of olive oil. If you drank it, so he claimed, if you drink it, it will flush out your system, freeing you of the weed. That was the stupidest theory I'd ever heard someone talk about. What made it funnier? He was telling this to other people. The 4 of them all looked like burnouts and idiots. I don't know what happened to the other 3 around him who listened to his stupid theory, but I knew him. His results came back a month later. He was summoned to the office. He was put on 3 weeks of restriction before the captain signed his going home papers, followed by a dishonorable discharge, followed by forfeiture of all pay and allowances. Now, in 2023, it sucks when you think about how weed is legal in 24 states, but in the military, it's still illegal. Which is why seeing in the news how all the military branches are having such a hard time promoting military recruitment, when how is it to pitch to an 18-year-old adult about how great the military would be for your future, when now you can be an influencer, you can smoke weed, you can be a delivery driver, you can offer up all these extra stuff. It's hard to tell someone to give your best for Uncle Sam for 4 years Forgetting the part where your drill instructor will yell at you, break you down, make you run laps. After boot camp, you go to your ship or base. For the other military people, you are bottom of the food chain. By the time year 3 hits, you have to decide, do you want to stay in, re-enlist for 4 more years? It is not really a good trade-off. Plus, the military does not tell you about this little lie. I did my 15 years. The military was downsizing. They offered me a payout. I said yes. I was able to escape. The plus side? They paid for my college. All of it. They gave me a payout for the house my ex-wife lives in now. I lived in an apartment until I was able to buy a house 3 years ago. I thank the military. I just wish they had a better plug these days to promote the military. You're a salesman. You pitched the idea of making a young adult give 4 years of your life. Tired, Friday night, typing away the story, I got to the block part where I had Sid meeting a woman, the fireworks booming. Looking down at the beach, staring in front of him. "Hello, who are you?" asking the stranger. "My name is Samantha." "My name is Sydney, but spelled the guy way," laughing when saying. "Are you here with a guy?" sounding as if Sydney was desperate when asking. "Oh no, I'm here because my dad and mom, my older brother, my dad was a pilot when he was in the Air Force. He wanted to come here to Pattaya because he had flown so many missions here, he never got to relax." "Was he a pilot, like a fighter pilot?" "No, he was an AMC, Air Mobility Command. This is where—" Sydney cutting her off, explaining he knew the job. "You do? How?" "When I was first in the Navy, in Seattle, they had AMC flights. You signed up Saturday mornings around 9 a.m. The plane would come in at 2 p.m. You would be on the next flight at 5 p.m. The plane would take us to California, landing at LAX, Los Angeles to be precise, before heading to San Diego. Then the plane would come back Sunday night. I would be on it, being back in Seattle by 2 a.m., only sleeping a few hours before the work week started." "Why did you go to Los Angeles?" "I wanted to visit friends, wanted to see my parents. But the problem I had with the AMC flights, I had the problem where it seemed you were wasting so much time by flying around, waiting for your ticket. It seemed pointless coming home. At times I would need a ride back because I had no cab money. But my mom said she was working, or I would ask my sister, and she would tell me no unless I gave her gas money. It was pointless. The last time I went on it, I remember when getting my ticket, I saw all these men, all of them excited to come down. Those men, we were all getting our tickets heading back from Los Angeles to Seattle. I saw all the same men, noticing a lot of them had wives, kids, all gathering to each man, hugging, kissing their men goodbye. Every weekend these men had to do this. I complained about it because it did not do me any favors coming down. But for them, it was the 32 hours, the hours I counted inside my head about how much time you really have with yourself down here. These men had this short window to be with their kids, their wives. Of course, 9/11 happens. No more AMC flights." Sydney looking down to the ground when finishing with, "The AMC flights still happen after 9/11, but they were only allowed for people traveling to their destinations. The free flights were canceled now." Typing this out, I remembered the true part to this story was thinking about all the families who could not see each other on the weekends anymore because of 9/11.